Something just happened with physical silver. Do you see this spike in volume? It's not a one-off event. It's not a sale, because we normalize the data to allow for large changes in volume when products are discounted. No, this is something new that's happened. Something that I haven't seen in the data since I started tracking. I know what this is, and I think you're going to find it interesting. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Sadie Stacker, and I really appreciate your time and hope you'll find the information in this video useful. Let's flip over to the gold purchase index chart briefly, just to show that the same spike is happening in gold, just like in silver. For those of you that haven't seen this chart before, let's do a quick review of what's going on here. This is a chart I produced myself from data collected looking into online sales of physical gold and silver bullion. It measures the breadth of purchases of a basket of the most popular bullion coins, or in other words, the number of customers buying. Starting with today and moving backward, we have the spike in volume we're interested in. I called the Fed pause here on November 14th. A flight to safety occurred in gold following the conflict in the Middle East. This flight was not repeated in the silver market, but I'm showing it here as a point of reference. The spot crash in early October really brought in the buyers. The spot price decline of early September brought a lot of buyers in from the sidelines. The premium crash of mid-August created a surge in buying, mostly in American Silver Eagles. Alright, that brings us up to what's been going on in the physical silver bullion market. Now let's get to that late November spike. This is all about one thing and one thing only. 2024 American Eagle and Buffalo coins have gone on pre-order. Even though these coins won't ship until January, stackers are putting in their pre-orders for the newest 2024 mintage. This isn't surprising because the data shows us that almost always, except in the case of Britannia's, the newest mintage year outsells the previous year's mintages by an order of magnitude. A majority of online dealers have these available already. Bullion exchanges, JM Bullion, Bold Precious Metals, and SD Bullion. As I compiled this information, I became concerned about the ability of local coin shops to compete with online dealers and their prospects for survival. Will local coin shops even be around in 10 years? My guess is they don't have access to pre-orders like this, or maybe only the largest of LCSs can. Getting these pre-orders is a huge chunk of business that's lost if they're not able to offer or advertise to their customers. The challenges they face are compounding. Competition with online dealers, access to products, banking problems, i.e. accounts getting closed, charged cash deposit fees, etc., and fraud. I just came across this thread on Reddit, where somebody was complaining about an online dealer requesting them to send a copy of their driver's license held up to their face before they could complete the order. The buyer got bent out of shape over that, which is how they ended up on Reddit. Monument Metals came to the defense of the other online dealer with this. To defend a fellow bullion dealer, we deal with a tremendous amount of fraud, like mind-boggling amounts, to the point where most processors and banks won't even deal with bullion companies due to the high-risk nature, and those that do charge very high fees to make sure they are covered. I'm not talking about your little cousin Jimmy who stole his grandma's credit card and bought some gold kind of fraud. We're talking major fraud rings who are really skilled at evading fraud detection systems that can fake IDs, etc. First of all, respect to Monument Metals for stepping in here. That response provides some insight into the challenges all dealers, LCS or online, are facing. Even online dealers have issues with banks. Let's read that again. Most processors and banks won't even deal with bullion companies. So, hey guys, this situation isn't like going through the drive-thru and getting medium fries when you ordered large, and then returning to the drive-thru to express your righteous anger to get the fries you paid for. So let's give all dealers a bit of a break here. They have a lot to deal with. Let me tell you about an experience I just had. During the pre-Black Friday sales, I tried placing an order through an online dealer of bought from many times. My bank repeatedly rejected the transaction. To not miss the sale, I reselected the payment method as a personal check, and then went through the extra step to mail that to them. It took a little longer to get the order shipped out, but it's on the way now, and I saved a few percent on bank charges. The way things are going makes me wonder if the whole bullion business is at risk. I'm beginning to change my mind a little on this CBDC thing, the central bank digital currency. The privacy issue doesn't bother me that much because they already have full access to our digital transactions through the use of warrants. What does have me troubled is the control issue, directing what we can and can't use our money for. That's a power they don't have now, not in the sense of total control. A CBDC would give them that power, that total control over our lives and businesses. If there were ever a currency collapse scenario, one could see the government using its powers to shadow ban gold ownership to crush any competing currencies, making it so we couldn't buy or sell precious metals. You could own it, you just couldn't use it. I suppose in such a scenario, a barter-based shadow economy would develop. Just ruminating is what I'm doing here. This book just came in, When Money Dies. It's a pretty well-known book that covers the history of hyperinflation in Weimar Germany. This is an intriguing read, and I'm especially interested in how people survived when their currency became worthless. You might think that only the poor were the most affected, but not so. The middle and professional classes were especially hard hit because of the fixed nature of their wages. Here's a snippet regarding inflation and wages. The rise of nearly 100% within the last 4 weeks has proceeded by such leaps and bounds that no scheme for a simultaneous increase in wages can well be devised to cope with it. An increase in wages granted by the end of 1 week would not meet the rise in prices by the following Tuesday, for instance. And the working and salaried classes had suffered severely despite their continually increasing remuneration. The wage situation is hopelessly dislocated at present. What we in the U.S. are now experiencing in slow motion is what Germans lived through at warp speed. Inflation outpaces wage growth. It's difficult to notice at the slow rate we experience it, but it's obvious as the clock speeds up. It turned out that the farmers and others who produced something necessary, something worth selling and the people needed, could raise prices as inflation rose. They were at the front end of the curve while wage workers were at the tail end. Farmers survived while the middle and professional classes were devastated. As the hyperinflation of the Weimar Republic worsened, gold became increasingly important as a medium of exchange and a store of value. The value of the mark plummeted, but the value of gold remained relatively stable. This made gold a much more desirable asset than the mark. By the end of the Weimar Republic, gold had become the primary medium of exchange in Germany. The mark was no longer trusted, and most people had abandoned it in favor of gold. This helped to pave the way for the introduction of the Reichsmark in 1924, which was pegged to gold. It was gold that brought an end to hyperinflation. And that wraps up today's video. If you found it informative, be sure to smash that like button to help others discover it as well. To stay updated with our latest content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications by tapping the bell icon. For those already safeguarding against uncertainties by investing in precious metals like silver and gold, ensure you're making your purchases at the best prices. Visit citystacker.com, where you'll find the best deals on precious metals bullion from top online dealers. The link can be found in the description for your convenience. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.